Clinton is demanding that Trump and his legal team cover all of her legal costs in a now dismissed lawsuit that the former president filed against her and others back in March. In September, a federal judge tossed that lawsuit, which named Clinton, the Democratic National Committee, White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, Christopher Steele, and more than a dozen others. The suit accused them of peddling false allegations that Trump's campaign colluded with Russia in an attempt to undermine Trump's 2016 presidential election bid. Federal Judge Donald Middlebrooks threw out the lawsuit in a scathing opinion, calling Trump's lawsuit a 200-page political manifesto outlining his grievances against those that have opposed him, and this court is not the appropriate forum. The judge, a Bill Clinton appointee, said the suit lacked substance and instead sought to settle scores. While Trump is appealing that ruling, Clinton is demanding Trump pay for both her and the other defendants' legal fees, calling the lawsuit a, quote, political stunt, and writing plaintiff's suit was unwarranted on the facts, unsupported by the law, and imposed substantial burden both on defendants and this court. Despite being alerted to the many deficiencies in the initial complaint by one round of motions to dismiss, plaintiff and his counsel pressed forward on an amended complaint that fixed none of the problems. Clinton's legal fees amount to just over $175,000. The total cost for all the defendants amounts to over $1 million, which Clinton's team wants Trump to pay. In response to Clinton's demands, Trump's attorney, Alina Habba, telling The Hill, quote, "This motion conveniently filed 1 week prior to Election Day is nothing more than a thinly veiled attempt to score political points. This motion is particularly inappropriate given that our client's case will soon be reviewed by the 11th Circuit. We will oppose this motion and trust that the court will see through this ruse." Interestingly, Habba's previous statements on the lawsuit are now being used against her by Clinton's legal team. In particular, these comments that she made on Newsmax and posted on her own website.
What the real goal is democracy, is continuing to make sure that our elections, continuing to make sure that our justice system is not obstructed by political enemies. That cannot happen. And that's exactly what happened. They obstructed justice. They continued the false narrative. This grand scheme that you literally could not make up to take down an opponent. That is un-American.
But that doesn't make it a legitimate lawsuit. And that certainly makes it sound like maybe it is about score settling. Look, this was a silly lawsuit. Legally, Trump will almost certainly lose the appeal. It wasn't even controversial that the judge found that, quote, neither politically opposing plaintiff, disliking plaintiff, nor engaging in political speech about plaintiff that casts him in a negative light is illegal. But does that mean Trump will have to actually pay Clinton's legal fees? That is a really high standard. Joining me once again is criminal defense attorney Caroline Polisi. What do you think? Is it possible that he's going to have to pay her legal fees?
So typically, Dan, I would say, just as you noted, we lawyers understand just how difficult it is to get sanctions of this nature. The American system, for better or for worse, is both parties walk away paying their own legal fees. It's very rare to recoup fees of this nature. But in this case, I do have to say that there is a chance here. The judge, sua sponte, that means unprompted, noted that he would retain jurisdiction after he tossed out the case to hear sanctions motions, which essentially, was begging all of the parties in this case to file these types of motions. So, you noted the amount there. It really, it adds up to a large figure, but they're asking for pretty fair amounts, nothing too exorbitant. I think it's a reasonable request given just how outrageous this lawsuit was.
Well, one of the things that happened in this lawsuit, and they mentioned this, is there was initially a complaint, and it sounds like it went away, and then they then amended the complaint. Explain to us in non-legal terms exactly what happened.
Yeah, so basically they brought the case, and the defendant said, hey, wait, you haven't, made a claim out based on what you've stated here. And then they got another bite at the apple, Dan. So they amended the complaint, even knowing just how deficient all of the predicates that they had been pointed out to them. They kept going.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.